Recording on. Recording on. Okay. Oh, all right. What's up, guys? What's up, guys? Welcome back to Unbox Junkie. My name is Matt, and today we're going to be talking about CES and a couple other things. This is actually a three-part little discussion. Number one is, let's set this off to the side. That's like number 2 or 3, I don't know. So I didn't really get I don't have notes or anything like that. For those who get the notifications, know that I put up a post saying that I was going to CES. Thank you. Hold on. Tribit. It's not Tribit. This whole time I've been looking at their products, I've always called them Tribit. It's Tribit. They confirmed it with me. But thank you for sending me the invitation. It was awesome. I was only there for a couple of days, but in those 2 days I got over 30,000 steps in, so it was an adventure, to say nonetheless. To say at the least. Okay, where do I start? Okay, so CES. My first experience at CES was absolutely awesome. Part of it was what I expected. Another part, I was a little surprised. So it started out with me heading to the airport. I met up with Mike Benson from Unbox Warehouse. Really cool guy. First time I met him. We've talked for about a year now, but really cool guy. Also ran into James from Freakin' Reviews, and really nice. Had a nice long discussion with him on my second day. But my first day, so I got to Vegas. Mike and I got to Vegas. We separated. He was at a different hotel. He went with other people, and I stayed at the Venetian, which was beautiful. And as I'm talking, I'm going to be looking at these pictures. This was my hotel room, and I'll put it up on the screen for you guys. It was a nice hotel. Really nice, actually. Loved it. If you guys ever been to Vegas and you've seen the Venetian, yeah, it is a crazy hotel. When I first got there, I started venturing around, got lost a little bit, but came across the center piece of the Venetian. They had a fake ceiling that looked real. The first day, which was Wednesday, I got up, I met Mike at the main event center. Now, the main event center is where all the big players are. LG, Sony, Samsung, just anybody and everybody. There were cars, had big old monster trucks. They had concept flying vehicles for the future Uber. You could definitely tell that this was this was just a mock-up, because if you got close to it, you can see it had like wood screws underneath it, but it was really cool. We saw a really cool electric motorcycle that I was actually the cameraman for Mike during his interview, so he actually is going to be covering that in the future. But that electric motorcycle goes 200 miles an hour, 0 to 100 in 4 seconds. Then there's some futuristic cars. Now I will say this, when I was at the main event center, it's huge, and there are thousands and thousands of people all over Vegas, because CES spans over Vegas like a very, like 2 million square feet or something like that. But I quickly realized that, okay, this is all the big top brand names. You know, you've got all the 8K TVs, but most of the stuff that I saw is things that everybody was talking about. And you know, I didn't really find it appealing to do the same thing. I saw many other YouTubers there doing their thing, but I saw a lot of the same thing. And if you go to Google right now and you type in CES 2020, you will find an endless sea of best of CES. It was a lot of the same stuff, you know. And then, and I came across, when you walk in, I think it was the LG booth, which was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. They had this really cool display. I did take a little bit of footage, but I noticed more than the display, the big, huge, you know, like monitors or whatever, that everybody was taking the same picture of the same things, including this. And I thought, well, I don't want to just be another one of those who puts it up and everybody sees the same thing, right? It's got to be something different. So after that day, after the first day, I was exhausted, went back to the hotel. This is when things got interesting, and this is when I learned a big lesson for me for next year, or the next time I go. I met up with Mike and James. That's when I met James for the first time at the main event center, and we kind of walked around just a little bit, and then we said, hey, let's go over to the Sands. And as soon as I walked in the door, the moment I walked in the door, I said, why was I not here yesterday? But that's where you find a lot of the Kickstarter companies, a lot of the companies that people haven't heard of that have created, you know, the people that are hungry, right? The ones that have created a technology or something that hasn't been seen before. Now, in a lot of cases, you're gonna, come across companies like that, and maybe they don't do that successful, but then somebody comes along and says that technology can be utilized somewhere else, and that's pretty awesome. Anyway, when I was walking through there, I saw so many unique things. When we first walked in, we saw this little display. Somebody created like an octagon, and they had these robots, and it was so creative. The way they were controlling it with this little controller, it was so unique. The guy was waving around with the sword and like rolling up to people and gesturing to him with his hands, and the controls were so unique. I thought that was really cool. Oh, I saw this, the little window vacuum cleaner. Then there was this thing. I didn't really get any details on what it was. I just thought it was silly looking, so I figured I'd record a little bit of it. And that's when I realized, I was like, wait a minute, what I feel is important to bring you guys into this channel is things that people aren't really covering that much, which I think that's kind of the bread and butter of this channel anyway, isn't it? I mean, the little guys, So I think that's what I'm gonna definitely focus on next time. Oh, also, I totally forgot. I saw a part of a quantum computer, which is really cool. I've been actually keeping up with the news on quantum computers for years now. So it was really cool when I actually came across it and saw it in person. So that was actually really neat. Very, very cool. Let's see. Okay, so that's part one. That was my experience in CES. Overall, I absolutely loved it. I think it's great, but now I know that I've been there. I can better build a plan in my head for my next visit and actually create some good content for you guys while bringing you guys something different. Let's see, I said this was a 3-part. Okay, number 2, part 2, I learned something about myself, and it was a little humbling, it was embarrassing, but it involved this. Okay, just to give a little background, most people who watch this channel know that I look at a lot of different products. Most of the time, when I look at a product, I set it aside and I go to another product. Unless it's like really personally appealing to me, then I'll use it. But to be honest, a lot of times I don't use a lot of the products extensively, for good reason. I don't have time to use that many products. But I also realized that that's kind of my downfall. Now, during my initial review, I had a lot of backlash. It was mostly positive, mostly all likes, but I had a lot of backlash in a couple of departments. One, people were saying that this was a knockoff. Yes, it is. It's not the first time we've looked at knockoffs. 2 was people were complaining about the frame rate. FYI, when I'm actually recording on here, I'm using a camera. So during that video, my FPS settings on the camera were not synced up exactly with monitors. It's kind of a difficult thing to do, I guess, unless you're a pro. I'm not Linus Tech Tips. But for my trip, I was gonna go as minimal as possible. I didn't bring a laptop. I wanted to bring the minimal amount of things that I could, so I did. I wore some earbuds, the OV Pros. Absolutely love those. I'll link those down below. The video that I looked at those are fantastic. I used them the whole time. They were amazing on the airplane. But then I thought, hey, I need something to watch something on. So I was like, well, let me grab this. I'll update it, download some movies on it so I have something to do on the airplane. And I took it with me. While I was on the plane to Vegas, I was watching something, and then all of a sudden it would pause and like maybe it would close or something. And then I thought maybe it was dying because it shut off, and I turned it back on and it was still at like 70% battery. And I was like, huh, that was weird. It did it a couple times throughout the flight. Then at the end of the first day at CES, when I'm sitting in the hotel, by the way, cable television is, I mean, no joke. I sat there and I ate my dinner in the span of commercials. It was so bad. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna live off of this while I'm here. And while I was sitting there, no joke, it was sitting on the table and I'm eating my sandwich and I look over and it is restarting on its own. So the reason I say I was a little embarrassed is because by using this and then looking back at my video and how I kind of, I guess, praised it for being awesome, it made me realize that I have a bigger responsibility for you. I didn't like that. I didn't like that at all because I felt really dumb. I really did. And I felt a little embarrassed that I would put a piece of content out there that's telling you guys, hey, you should go buy this. And I didn't even use it. I used it for the video to show my initial thoughts, but after using it, I realized, wow, if I were to have bought this and then actually used it extensively like I attempted, I would be irritated and I would send it back immediately. And so that made me realize that I think I need to do better for you guys. I think I need to do what I plan on doing, and I'm gonna consider this as the update for this right now, because I'm not gonna make a whole update video on this. I think it speaks for itself. It's garbage. The part 3 that I'm talking about is I'm gonna start giving you guys update videos. And I want you guys to help me out. Because I don't keep everything that I review. Surprisingly, I give away a lot of my stuff. A lot of stuff goes to friends. Sometimes somebody comes to the door, a pizza guy, I'll throw him some earbuds. Here's your tip. You know, I like giving stuff away. I have a lot of, you know, stuff that I review, and I don't want it to just go to waste. So, you know, I share it. So I don't have everything, but just to kick this whole thing off, if you guys look back at any of my videos and you're interested in, like, hey, what's the update on this? If there's products that you were holding off on getting because you weren't too sure and you want to see a real update on it, let me know. And I'm gonna make it a point to start doing that. It's not gonna be like constant, but it's gonna be on select products such as like laptops or monitors, something that is used extensively, something that, you know, definitely needs some sort of an update. A little more information than just, hey, here it is, here's how it looks, here's how it works, my initial thoughts. I'm trying to think if there's anything I've missed or left out, because again, I didn't script any of this. This is just off the cuff. I don't even know if I'm gonna edit this. It's a 20-minute video. YouTubers are putting up hour-long videos now. Let me think. Is there anything else? Pataka. I ran into them and it was really cool. They're the ones who actually took this group picture of Brandon, James, Alex, Mike, and myself. But they had this really interesting charging dock, which I never thought I'd really say that. It's kind of a concept right now. It's not fully completed, but it can change from Android over to iOS or Apple, so you can charge either one, plus it's a wireless dock. But then the guy showed me this little compartment, and inside the compartment, you can put stuff. Let me think, anything else? I don't want to miss out on anything. No, I think that's pretty much it. I pretty much covered it. So in short, CES 2021 maybe. I don't know if I'm gonna go again next year. From, you know, hearing opinions from the other guys, you know, they're kind of like, you know, the best way to do CES is like go every 3 years or so, because a lot of the technology is, you know, from last year or the year before. You know, it's not every year that groundbreaking technology hits the consumer market, so I don't really see the point in going every year. Now, I will say this, since I went to the Sands and saw what I saw there, it may be worth doing that. I will go probably longer than 2 days next time, because I did miss out on my meeting with LG, who was very nice. We're gonna be looking at some stuff from them coming up. All right, guys, so that is it. I hope this was informative for you, and I hope it didn't bore you too much, but these are things that I needed to get off my chest, and I wanted to share with you guys about my experience, and hopefully my next CES trip will be fruitful, and I can bring you guys some really good content, stuff that other people aren't looking at. Because come on, how many times do you want to look at the same 8K television that can go, you know what I mean? All right, guys, that's it. Get out of here.